Hey, Coach, welcome to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe down below and click up above. That way you'll be notified of everything that kind of comes through. If you're looking to win championships, if you're looking to have a messy basement like this, but a basement like this, go down over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's the resources, it's mentoring, it's the one-stop shop for basketball coaches. Go over and check it out. Have a great day. All right. Welcome to High School Hoops. Not like
Good
last
job.
week where I was coaching youth hoops, which is a great podcast and you should listen to it. Bill's awesome. But High School Hoops. All right. So before we jump into today's topic, which is one of my favorites, I think I'm pretty good at this topic.
That's why I'm asking you and talking to you about ideas.
It's good. I want to give a shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shooting machine on the market. Jake needs to get one. I have 3 of them. We'll take yeah. Anyway, mention us, you'll get $450 off. And then also, look at this is my daughter's yellow jackets.
Nice.
Baldwin Wallace yellow jackets. Anyway, we were talking about my daughter's college before we jumped on. Anyway, and then also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. The one-stop shop for basketball coaches, everything that I would have wanted as a coach. I 6 hours, not 6 hours, maybe 5.5 hours yesterday. I was talking to coaches all over. I was talking to a coach that's going to be really good and trying to figure out how to win early. I was talking to a coach about how to do a zone offense. I was talking to another coach that they didn't win a game last year. So, and I love it because I feel like I'm helping people. But anyway, if you're looking for a mentor, looking for resources, teachhoops.com is the answer for you. Prices are going up in October, and this is September. So just so you know, less people, more people I can help. So anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So conditioning. Yes, there's the answer. Condition.
Yeah, and I get that, but it's like, what are your where is your preseason conditioning? Like, I mean, do you offer? I mean, do you give your guys, a scope and sequence of something to do to make sure they're conditioned? I know a lot of high schools now have the after school program with weightlifting and conditioning. I'm a huge advocate in our community of, my team, my girls playing multiple sports and competing, which is great.
Which is great.
Basketball shape is different
than volleyball
let's be
shape.
Honest.
It is different than volleyball shape. It's different than cross country shape.
Yeah, they're all great competitive sports. I love all of them. They're great sports, but basketball is a different type of conditioning. And so I just don't think nothing truly prepares you for that first day of practice when you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much this takes.
Well, and as a boys coach, football is possibly the worst thing.
Right.
So just a couple things. Yes, we have a school-wide conditioning thing that we do for non-fall athletes, which is helpful because usually about half my team's not a fall athlete. They either play, maybe they're baseball players. Big school. I think the last time I checked, we're the 6th largest high school in the state. So it's really,
I think you're pretty close.
Yeah. So it's pretty hard to be a 3-sporter, a lot of 2-sporters.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the ones that aren't, we have things for them. We have the weight training after school, but we also have morning conditioning. We have a nice little hill behind school that's good before it gets too cold. So we try to do that. I try to get them in playing too, running a little bit because that seems to be a good thing for them. As far as just getting reps and stuff. My biggest worry is those.
So how do they
players
lead themselves into that, coach? So
they don't. It's a school-wide thing. Someone runs.
Okay.
It. Yeah, there's.
So that's a nice thing that you're.
It's legal because it's not. It's open to every athlete. So we have girls basketball players,
you're not
hockey players,
right?
Yeah, and if I am running it, everyone can do it. It's just conditioning.
Right.
It's not like we're bringing basketballs out. It's like conditioning. It's basically just conditioning. Maybe some agility stuff. We do some ladder stuff. But it's a school-wide thing. So I like it from a community standpoint because it's everybody.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Is that a great idea?
Yeah.
Makes me a little bit more tired when it's my turn sometimes. But anyway, I love sitting at the top of that hill and just, yeah. Anyway, I love sitting at the top of that hill. And they're up, down. But so I do give them some stuff as far as it's hard. It's like you want your football team to do well, but all of a sudden they do well, and then it's 3 weeks later, or they got 4 days. I was talking to a coach. I was talking to Teachhoops members the other day, and he's convinced he's going to have like 4 practices before his hardest game of the year, because his football players are going to be playing till Thursday, and then he's going to have to play on Tuesday.
That good a group of athletes, especially, so, and you'll find that even like the smaller communities, you'll find that even more when you really have a good group of athletes. At the smaller communities, they are the key player of the football team, their basketball team.
Yeah, he was talking quarterback, secondary, a couple.
Yeah, exactly. But, right, and that's very, very common in a small community.
It is, but the problem is you don't want to beat them up. Shin splints are a cause from you do not want to injure over you. So the problem is you got to progress slowly into that.
Right.
And that's where hopefully if you have a couple weeks, they can slowly, because what is basketball? Think about conditioning of basketball. I've talked to enough people about this. I'm actually going to talk to some coaches and some the professors down at the UW next week about conditioning and nutrition and stuff, which I'm really excited about. But they if you think about it, it's spurts, right? Like it is fast, quick spurts, and maybe it's spurt, rest, spurt. It's not like football's like go and then rest for 30 seconds and then go and then rest for 30 seconds, or soccer, they're walking. There's a video right now about Messi. If you saw his last goal that he scored, he was walking for literally like 45 seconds. He was just watching the field, and then all of a sudden, whoop, and he scores and they win.
Well, somebody who has coached and played soccer, I don't want people to think that soccer players walk, but if you do have soccer players that are walking in a game, that means the team is doing a very good job possessing the soccer ball. There should be times in which if you're playing the game of soccer correctly, you should be walking in some component.
Right. So, and no, I mean, this is professional.
So I just don't want
no. I'm not saying he's not
soccer people, because I'm a soccer guy.
Saying he wasn't running. I'm just saying it's a different conditioning.
It is. And there are times when the offense is being offense and the defense gets a little break, or the defense is getting a little break. Now, depending on your position, it might be a little bit different. But even that point, you talked about, high schools having, conditioning weight room. That's awesome. But I think then it comes down to, how much time do you allot in the practice time for conditioning in those first couple weeks of practice.
Yeah, and I like to not.
Right.
But I do some, because we have a conditioning drill that we use to kind of earn their practice gear and stuff. Yes, I mean, I agree. I don't want to, but I have to. And that's partially. But I don't want to, I also don't want to beat them up and run just for the sake of running. We do a ladder one where they're dribbling the ball and stuff like that. So I think any way that you can condition and use basketball skills makes it a lot better. 1,000 times better.
Right. Some full court, some shooting drills. There's a lot of stuff out there, full court shooting drills where, those are great. I've tried to use that Syracuse conditioning stuff that you've gave me with the basketball.
Yeah, and the dribbling stuff is good. The shooting, the full court, I think my Syracuse drill, or whatever I call it, you used to call it. But that shooting drill is great, but you have to put something. There has to be a bar, depending on your team, of, you got to make 83 in 3 minutes or whatever it is.
Right. You've got to add an element of competitiveness with basketball. Yeah. Then they're just shooting to shoot. Like, how many shots can you guys make in a matter of this time with that conditioning? So they're actually running at a rate where they're actually conditioning their body. They're not just going through the motion. Yes, that's a good point. So we talk about there's the avenues of, the weight room and the high school programs and stuff for preseason kids before the season for all athletes. Then we talk about how do we add that element into our practice, and I think being able to have those things in place where there is a basketball involved really helps.
It does. It just makes it so much easier. And again, it's kind of like the 2-ball dribbling. I want 2-ball dribbling because I want them to be dribbling and I want them working on both of their hands at the same time. It's the same thing with
Right.
conditioning. If you
And it
can figure
maximizes
it,
your time,
yeah,
right? If you just want to get their touch back, 2-ball is perfect for 3 or 4 minutes every day in practice for the first couple weeks of practice, because you are initiating both hands and you're really just working on just getting the feel of the ball back. And then you keep moving that forward as the season goes on. And I think the hardest thing too is this for us, and I would say across the United States, right? There are less days in our schedule now where we can add those elements of conditioning because we are playing more games, you know. So we are playing more games and less ample opportunity to make sure we're in the best condition for those games. So it becomes a very hard task to do. Right. So I do think I do think that as talking coaches, as talking in season, you do got to set aside some time with the basketball, without the basketball, to make sure that they are conditioned because they're going to play a lot of games.
Right. And it's like, yeah, and that's the only way. Yeah, we play too many games. Don't get me started on that. But yeah.
See, I agree. I feel like we play way too many games too, you know. But that's not a conversation.
That's way above our pay grade at this point.
Yeah, and it's also just something that what are we going to do? Argue about it? It looks like there's nothing we can do about it at this point. But you know, because I feel like, you know, there's just that piece of development and playing good quality basketball. Sometimes when you're not well conditioned, you have too many games, you're not seeing the quality of basketball. You know, I'd rather play less games and have really good competitive games and see my team play really good quality basketball than just playing the game for the sake of it. Because then guess what happens, coach? Bad habits, right?
Bad habits.
And it takes longer and you have less time to do that, but that's a whole other thing. So
that's another topic. Anything else on conditioning, coach?
It's something that I believe that one thing that I wrote down is that for conditioning is early on in the season, well-conditioned teams tend to have more success than those that do not. And so that's where I think I wanted to add this piece, you know, and letting even when you're going in that preseason meeting and talking to your team and your program, and whether they do it at home or you provide an outline for them, just understanding if we are conditioned, our success early on is going to be where we want it to be. And if you're not conditioned as much, you're not going to knock down the shots that you want. You're not going to take care of the basketball as well as you want to. You might pick up cheap fouls. So, and I believe that sometimes the best thing is that conditioning is something that everybody can take control of. You choose to do it or you choose not to do it. You don't have to be great at it. You just have to do it and do it in,
and you got to get buy-in. You got to get buy-in. You got to get buy-in. I agree. All right, coach, till next week.
Yep. Thanks.
Thanks for watching, coach. Make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified every time we come back on. But you will not be disappointed with teachhoops.com. 14-day free trial. Let's go check it out. Have a great day.